Cheng Li-wen enters KMT chair race after Liu declines. Taiwan wins Little League World Series after 29 years. Xindian fire destroys cars, forces evacuation. Historic summit between Japan and South Korea. Zelensky and Carney hold joint presser on Ukraine's Independence Day. The U.S. takes 10% stake in Intel. The 95-year-old POW who wants to return to North Korea to die. China's animated hit Ne Zha 2 gets second U.S. release.
Hello everyone, I'm Oceana. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Monday, August 25th, National Secondhand Wardrobe Day. And here are our top stories. In local news, Taichung Mayor Lu秀燕announced she will not run for KMT chair, drawing attention to other candidates. Former legislator郑Li-wen, who had said she would run if Lu stepped aside, confirmed her candidacy for the October 18th election. Cheng plans small public fundraising, party visits, and member meetings to share her vision, emphasizing KMT unity for the 2028 return to power. Taiwan defeated the U.S. 7-0 to win the Little League World Series, claiming its first international title in 29 years. Taipei's Dongyuan Elementary School, representing Asia Pacific, went undefeated in 5 games, beating Mexico, Aruba, Venezuela, and the U.S. to capture the championship. A fire broke out early today in a residence on Xindian Street, Xindian, New Taipei. Cars and a small gas canister exploded, affecting the home. Firefighters evacuated 17 people, 8 were hospitalized. 2 cars were destroyed and a scooter reduced to its frame. Cause remains under investigation. And in global news, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung made his first overseas trip for bilateral diplomacy, with stops in both Washington, D.C. and Tokyo. But unlike his predecessors, he didn't visit the United States first. Instead, his first stop was Japan, following a bilateral summit between Lee and Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. Tokyo and Seoul issued their first joint statement in 17 years, pledging deeper cooperation on AI, trade, and denuclearizing the Korean peninsula.
They also announced plans to launch a joint task force to tackle shared challenges, including aging populations and declining birth rates. But what stood out most from this summit wasn't what was signed, it was the shared smiles and warm words between the two leaders. Lee said, "This is our second meeting, and I feel as if we are close friends." The striking shift in tone, from enmity to friendliness, is impossible to ignore. Japan's colonial occupation of Korea, which lasted over 3 decades in the first half of the 20th century, has long cast a shadow over relations. In 2023, Lee criticized his predecessor for attending a landmark summit with Japan, calling him a puppet of Tokyo.
President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine would continue to fight for its freedom in an address to the nation on its Independence Day. He said, "We need a just peace, a peace where our future will be decided only by us," adding that Ukraine would fight back against Russia while its calls for peace are not heard. He continued, "Ukraine has not yet won, but it has certainly not lost." His remarks come after Moscow said Ukraine had attacked Russian power and energy facilities overnight, blaming drone strikes near a nuclear power plant.
The United Nations International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, said it was aware of reports regarding the fire, while its Director General added that every nuclear facility must be protected at all times. The IAEA has repeatedly called on both Russia and Ukraine to show maximum restraint around nuclear facilities during the war. Independence Day celebrations were held in Kyiv, as the country marked its declaration of independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney took part in the celebrations at St. Sophia's Cathedral, where he addressed the crowd. "I want to say something very simple and important. Canada will always stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine."
The U.S. government is making an $8.9 billion investment in Intel common stock, giving the Trump administration a roughly 10% stake in the struggling chipmaker. Trump said, "It is my great honor to report that the United States of America now fully owns and controls 10% of Intel, a great American company that has an even more incredible future." The announcement came after the CEO of Intel agreed to such a deal, adding that he hopes to strike similar deals with other companies in the future.
Trump said of his conversations with Intel CEO Li-wen, "I said, I think you should pay us 10% of your company. And they said yes." Trump said the deal was a win for both sides. He added, "I negotiated this deal with Li-wen, the highly respected chief executive officer of the company. The United States paid nothing for these shares, and the shares are now valued at approximately $11 billion. This is a great deal for America and, also, a great deal for Intel." The agreement is part of an effort to help boost semiconductor manufacturing in the United States and cement the U.S. as a leader in the global chipmaking industry, a key priority of Trump's second term so far.
On a blistering morning last week, an unusually large crowd had gathered at Imjingang Station, the last stop on Seoul's metropolitan subway line that inches the closest to North Korea. Their attention fixed on one man, An Hak-sop, a 95-year-old former North Korean prisoner of war who was making his way home to the other side of the border that divides the Korean peninsula. It was what Mr. An called his final journey. He wanted to return to the north to be buried there after spending most of his life in South Korea, much of it against his will.
He never made it across. He was turned away, as was expected because the South Korean government had said they did not have enough time to make the necessary arrangements. But Mr. An came as close as he could. Weakened by pulmonary edema, he could not manage the 30-minute walk from the station to the Unification Bridge, or Tonggal-dae-gyo, one of the few passageways connecting South Korea to the north. So he stepped out of the car roughly 200 meters from the bridge and walked the final stretch on foot, flanked by two supporters who steadied him. He returned holding a North Korean flag, a sight rarely seen and deeply jarring in the South, and addressed the reporters and 20 or so volunteers who had turned up in support. "I just want my body to rest in a truly independent land," he said. "A land free from imperialism."
An English-dubbed version of the Chinese blockbuster哪吒 2, the world's highest-grossing animated film, has been released in the United States, featuring a voice cast that includes Michelle Yeoh. Inspired by Chinese mythology, the film opened in more than 2,500 American theaters on Friday. It is the latest in a wave of successful animations highlighting Asian culture, such as Netflix's recent hit K-pop Demon Hunters.
The sequel to a hit movie released in 2019,哪吒 2 tells the story of a child demigod named哪吒who rebels against his innate devilry and chooses to use his magical powers and martial arts skills to defend humanity from dragons and other foes. Yeoh, a Malaysian actor and fluent Mandarin speaker, said she found it hard to follow the English subtitles during some of the film's more spectacular scenes and thought it needed to be dubbed in English. She later received a call asking if she wanted to voice Lady Yin,哪吒's mother, for the English-dubbed version. Since its release in mainland China in January,哪吒 2 has become the world's fifth highest-grossing movie of all time, ranking just behind James Cameron's Titanic.
The answer for last Thursday was C, displacement. The flood led to the displacement of thousands of families. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news, historic summit between Japan and South Korea. Number 1, predecessor, 前任, 前辈. The new CEO thanked her predecessor for laying a strong foundation. Number 2, summit, 高峰会, 顶点. World leaders will meet at the climate summit next month. Number 3, denuclearize, 使无核化. The two countries agreed to work together to denuclearize the region. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section, and the correct answer will be announced tomorrow. The day likely gained momentum as thrift stores and secondhand shopping became more popular. People began recognizing the need to reduce waste and make more ethical fashion choices. Thrift shops played a key role in promoting this movement. Organizations like Goodwill, founded in 1902, helped popularize the idea of reusing clothes to support both the environment and local communities. And that's all for today's FUNDAY News. Be sure to tune into FUNDAY News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm your host, Oceana, and I'll see you next time.